Hello there. It's Jeff Cutter W. Welcome you to another Degrassi Top 10 poll video influenced by the Reddit community. So, a while ago, I actually found out, I don't know who did this, but someone did what do you think was the most touching Degrassi moment of all time. And so, using my powers of persuasion and all that, I figured, why don't I just make it into a poll? So, I took the guy's touching moment and basically like which ones made sense to me, and I actually had to fill in a few. Well, actually it was supposed there were 18, so I did three polls of six. The top three, alongside one of the top fourth place things in the poll, actually made out the top 10. So there were a list of moments. I can't remember. I think I threw out the paper. Yeah, I threw out the paper. Fuck. But basically, yeah. So there was one moment that actually won a wild card poll to get into my top 10. So there are a couple of honorable mentions who were fourth place in the three polls. Well, when I did my polls, I did them based on like which era of Degrassi. So anyway, the season 18 last exit montage was huge and all that scene. Um, Zoe and Saya, no, Zoe and Rasha being a power couple. Winston with Goldie. Winston accompanying Miles to Europe with them. Grace getting her lungs finally to deal with her cystic fibrosis. And then, Maya and Sig heading to California. So, anyhow, and then another moment was Ellie in Degrassi Goes Hollywood, and the fact that after she almost kills herself, she decides to go visit her father, who come back from war and had PTSD. So that's what happened and all that. So anyway, here are the top 10 Degrassi touching moments as ranked by Reddit. Number 10, with 18 votes I split the polls into 1 to 5 and 6 to 10. So the ones from 6 to 10 are their own poll, and then 1 to 5. You'll hear different numbers, but anyway. So at number 10 with 18 votes out of 156 was Joey helping Dwayne in the Degrassi High finale. Now, I know there's not a lot of touching moments in the OG first. Basically, Will's getting comforted by a lot of people about his parents' death and all that. So anyway, Joey helping Dwayne out was huge. The last episode of the OG era, before School's Out, the movie that came out, actually ended up being huge because Dwayne was found out to have AIDS and all that. No, to have HIV and all that. And people stay away from him. And Dwayne doesn't know if he should go to the dance and all that. People turn on him, especially his bandmates or whatever. But basically, Dwayne gets a little bit angry at himself, mostly because people are just ignoring him. However, Joey, out of nowhere, comes to save Dwayne and basically saying that they're all jerks. They're the ones who are the idiots, not you. So basically, you are you and all that. And thankfully, Dwayne gets the confidence to come to the dance. People are still shocked, but Dwayne doesn't give any quarter and all that. Another honorable mention was Joy helping Caitlin deal with Claude's suicide, because Claude ended up killing himself mostly because he couldn't get towards Caitlin and all that. And Joey says that you shouldn't let Claude get to you. He knows what he's doing. He killed himself to get at you because you spurned him. All right, so number 9 on the list with 23 votes. Oh, there's a tie. There's a tie for 9th. Let me see. Honestly, I'm gonna go with number 9 is Becky's memorial for Adam in season 13. The next one had 23 votes too, but I'll tell you that. So anyway, Becky's memorial for Adam was huge. Adam was this groundbreaking Canadian TV character that, was a FTM transgender person, female to male, And, people like him for it. Bianca was not so happy. Dave was not so happy. Even Audra at times was not happy about Adam's transformation from female to male. But in the end, they all grew to like it or not, especially for Audra. Anyhow, Adam ends up dying because of texting and driving. He was stuck between Becky and Imogen. But unfortunately, though, I don't think Imogen found out about Becky and vice versa. So basically, that was huge. But Becky wants to have a memorial for Adam in season 13, but not too many students come by. But then again, Drew actually managed to round up all the students to come to her thing. And it was amazing that Becky showed some solidarity for Adam after all. I mean, Becky comes from a Christian family that basically hates anyone who's LGBTQ, 2 plus, whatever. And Becky almost went for conversion therapy before Jenna stops Becky. I still say that a lot of the hate towards Becky in season 13 from her parents was because of Adam, because she supported transgender people. And that, well, of course, Becky testified against her brother. I mean, Luke told Becky everything. Like, what was Becky supposed to do? So anyway, number 8 is the Degrassi mini with JT and Liberty. Now, a lot of people like this mini before, other than all that. Of course, the incidents that happened with JT and Liberty, and JT being a ghost visiting Liberty on her birthday in this Degrassi mini, is in the top 5. I don't want to spoil it too much, but anyway, yeah, JT and Liberty getting closure for everything. All right, so number 7 on the list with 36 votes is Paige helping Ellie overcome her cutting in season 3. This actually was the wild card. This was not a top 3 in any of the 3 mini polls. So it won a mini poll with season 7's, no, not season 7, season 18's moment, the final moments of Next Class, and also the Ellie fixing her dad in the hospital. But yeah, Paige helping overcoming. Paige seemed to be a queen bee with being sassy, but she could be caring too. Ellie starts to cut herself after her mother is drunk and all that, and just can't handle the fact that her husband, or Ellie's dad, basically is in the military and fighting in Afghanistan. It was a tough time in the world trying to beat up on Afghanistan. But Ellie tries to control herself and her mother, but the stress gets to her and her co-op job, so she takes a compass. I keep calling it a protractor for some reason, but that's fucking wrong. But she takes a compass and starts to slash her arms and all that, and she bleeds and all that, and she feels better with the pain and all that. However, Paige manages to catch Ellie and wants Ellie to show Paige her arm. And Paige, in one of the best moments of her character, actually cares about Ellie and wants Ellie to come forward to therapy. But Ellie is not appreciative of Paige's efforts, but then she learns that Paige actually cares for her. And, she overcomes it. And all that. She actually comforts Craig. No. So, I don't know. She says something. She's a cutter in season 3 or 4. She comforts somebody, and says, I'll always be a cutter, no matter what they say. But yeah, Paige was pretty good in all that. And Ellie got over her problems. Actually, this episode actually caused a lot of trouble in Canada because there were teenage girls in Montreal that saw this episode and started doing that practice. And the school board was unhappy and wanted to sue CTV for this. And anyway, number 6 on the list is Peter and Manny helping Darcy with her rape season 7. So in season 7, Darcy is with Peter still. Like, they had an on again, off again relationship. But Darcy wants to be with Peter, but her parents don't because they figure Peter was a dumb person, especially with the fact that, he was in trouble with the law for his street racing with Sean. So anyway, Darcy wants to still see Peter and all that. And so Darcy fakes her way into a ski weekend with Peter and Manny. And unfortunately, Darcy goes to the bathroom and then someone slips something in her drink. Darcy thinks she had sex with Peter, but the worst part was that she actually learns that no, it wasn't Peter, and that someone raped her somehow and left her on the couch and all that. So we find out that people have been roofing drinks and all that. And Darcy feels upset about herself. She gets kicked out of the friendship club for her failing to be abstinent, even though it wasn't her fault. And she spirals. But before she really spirals, Peter and Manny give her a purity ring, saying that the time that it didn't really count. But unfortunately for Darcy, she spirals out of control. Like, she accuses Snake of problems. She's trying to fix her problems. She does her self-loathing. She attempts to jump off the roof or slash herself in the girls' washroom. But thankfully, the Manny stops her both times. And yeah, it was weird. All right, so now you got the top 5, and of course, the poll numbers will be different. All right, so number 5 on the list with 15 votes, and the one I picked was Terry helping Craig deal with his dad's death in season 2. This was heart-wrenching, especially for Craig. I know a lot of people say, how is that heart-wrenching? In season 2, when Craig gets introduced, we find out that he has an abusive father who beats him up for almost no good reason. And then Craig is seen with Angie trying to get some resemblance of his family, because we soon learn that Craig's mom, Julia, left Albert to be with Joey. And possibly Albert may be hurting Craig on purpose because he doesn't know how to deal with Joey stealing his wife. So he basically needs a punching bag. And Craig is sent to live with Joey, and then Craig's dad pops up at the end of season 2 saying he got better, but unfortunately he didn't. And then he gets in a car crash and dies. Craig laughs at his dad's funeral and all that. Joey wants to know what the heck Craig is doing. Craig says, I'm not sad. My tormentor's dead, Joey. And then at the luau dance, he and Ashley get named king and queen, mostly by sympathy. I mean, Craig could have stayed home for the rest of the term, and Radich would not have failed him, because Radich knew that if a student loses their parents, it's not good. I mean, he was there for Wills when he had his loss. So anyhow, Craig hallucinates about his dad and is upset that Ashley's trying to help him fix the problem. So he tears down some decorations and all that. Ashley wants to go towards Craig, but Radich says, let him cool off. And that's when Terry finds Craig and then shares her own pain. The reason why she only has a dad and not a mom was because her mom died in a car crash. And she was at a friend's birthday party. I don't think it was Paige or Ashley's birthday party. But I went to a birthday party, and that Terry's dad told her that, it was hard to believe. And, that she's dead and all that. And Terry didn't know how to process it. And Craig is like, I hate him so much, but why am I upset? Because he loved him. And then she helps Craig navigate things. Craig apologizes to everyone and has a dance with Ashley. All right, so number 4 on the list with 20 votes was Fiona helping Dallas deal with Cam's suicide in season 12. Now, a lot of people think, how is this a touching moment? Well, simple, because of Cam's suicide and all that. Cam left Maya, but Sig was jealous of Cam being with Maya and did all he could to try to avoid having Maya be with Cam. And tells Cam to stay out of Maya's life forever. And so he kills himself. Of course, Sig didn't know the gravity of Cam's problems, especially with being on the hockey team and being pressured to do well and, being away from his family in Kappa-Casing, which is 10 hours away from Toronto in Northern Ontario. And then he kills himself. In the J.T. York Memorial Garden, Eli finds his dead body and all that. They still don't know what happened to Cam. Like, did he get poisoned? Like, did he hang himself? Did he slash himself? Or did he drink garden chemicals and poison himself? Now, 3 years ago, and of course this is being taped February 4th, 2022 for context. Yeah, 3 years ago, I actually spent a summer at a garden center before I ended up shifting to Shoppers Drug Mart and Canadian Tire, where I am now. But I had to learn about garden chemicals and all that. And I know about toxicity and all that. So, yeah, I should know. Anyway, Dallas is upset. He's mad at himself because he should have listened to Cam and he should have paid Cam better attention and be a better teammate, not be a dickwad as a captain. So he goes up to the roof and says, I can't deal with myself. But Fiona calms him down and says, "There's something you have to fight for." I think Fiona wanted to be with Dallas, but Dallas is like, "Yeah, that's true. His son Rocky, so he wants to be with Rocky to be alive for his son." So that works out in the end. Number three, yeah. Number three with 37 votes out of the 183 votes, I should say, was the response to JT's death at the hospital in season 6. Now, JT steals 2 spots in the top 5, and they're actually back to back. Spoiler alert. Anyway, number 3 was the response to JT's death at the hospital in season 6. Now, JT was in a gang war with Lakehurst because Lakehurst had a student by the name of Nick who did not like the fact that JT was dating his ex, Mia. Coupled that with the fact that Liberty seemed jealous that JT would move on from her by dating Mia and being close to her 2-year-old Isabella made Liberty a little bit jealous. So anyway, Liberty has a birthday party at Emma's house because Manny was living at Emma's house at the time. They threw it because Manny was upset over losing Craig. So anyhow, JT learns all this stuff and decides he needs to be with Liberty. I think maybe he fears for his own life because Toby tells him that, you got to be careful and all that. Tell her how you feel. What's the worst that can happen? You're right, Tobes. You're always right. And then, JT finds Johnny DeMarco and Drake Lampley peeing on his car. He says something, and then he gets stabbed in the order by Drake the redhead. And he dies. Well, he slowly bleeds out, and Liberty has her primal scream, "Somebody help," and all that. So at the hospital, Emma tries to talk to Spike and Snake over the phone. Manny's there, Sean's there, Liberty's there, and Toby's there. Now, of course, JT lives with his grandmother, and she's rushing her to the hospital, but Toby said that he is JT's brother. In a sense, he's right, because he's always like a brother to JT. But still, sorry for your loss. We couldn't save him. And all the kids, like hug each other, and it's like so. Oh yeah, Sean was there too. It was so sad and all that. And the next few episodes dealt with grief and all that. Like Liberty struggled to deal with JT dying, Mia not understanding things, Toby probably feeling guilty over the fact that he may have caused JT's death by forcing him to go find Liberty. I think he was feeling that way. And Emma upset that Manny's leaving her and leaving her high and dry. Like, Emma just wants to talk about the situation, but she feels like everyone's moving on. And of course, this speaks to Emma's problems because she took a long time to deal with the aftermath of Rick's death in season 4. Her PTSD must have came back in season 6. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And of course, speaking of JT, number 2 with 52 votes was season 7's finale with a memorial to JT. So of course, the next generation, everyone's like graduating and all that. It's great to see these kids, like the Emma class, with Liberty, Toby, and in essence, Jimmy and Spinner graduating. Jimmy lost a year because of his rehab therapy, and I think Hatzelackles made a tough decision, and she didn't really want to make that decision. And Spinner got booted for a year because of his expulsion because of the Rick Murray situation. But anyway, it was great to see them. Well, Degrassi had to deal with Lakehurst, but Degrassi was allowed to have their own prom and their own graduation. So anyway, in season 7's finale, Liberty cries because she's upset over the fact that she was with Damien, who was supposed to be with Emma, and also that JT's death was being glossed over. Toby said that we need to talk about JT and all that. But everything fixes in the end. Emma knows that Damien was the scumbag the whole time, and Liberty feels good about herself. Everyone says, you deserve a second chance. So anyway, at the end of the episode, season 7's finale, there, at the JT York Memorial Garden, they actually place a graduation cap with a picture of JT and then turns the tassel the other side so that he graduates with them. It was hard to believe, but yeah, it ended one great Degrassi show and started another. And at number 1, with 59 votes in the top poll, was Jimmy helping Marco's gay bashing in season 3. Marco was hiding his homosexuality and all that. Ellie was trying to help him, but then Ellie says that Marco should help himself. So Marco comes out to Spinner. Spinner's upset, writing homophobic stuff in the bathroom and all that. And then, of course, Jimmy gets upset with Spinner, saying that, why not write something about me being black? In the meantime, Marco is headed to a hockey game that Dylan, his crush Dylan, or Paige's brother, is in. But unfortunately, he gets hit hard by 3 or 4 thugs, and he's hurt and in the hospital. Jimmy does his best to help Marco deal with it, and everyone helps him out. Spinner is hesitant, as always, and basically everyone turns on Spinner. Spinner, thankfully, by the end of season 3, actually accepts Marco and his culture and everything. And he learns to tolerate Marco's homosexuality, and that Marco is not going to come anywhere near Spinner, saying that Spinner is definitely not hot. So anyway, yeah, that's a great moment in time in Degrassi history, and don't you forget it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jeff Diamond. So long.